is when people are like, do you like them? Ooh, you're blushing, you do. Like, no, you cold corn dog, I'm blushing because you're embarrassing me and making me feel uncomfortable.
Things parents don't understand. Number one, okay, if I'm playing the game online, I cannot pause the game because there's other people playing live with me. So how am I gonna pause the game if they're playing too? Number two, you ever think, you know what, I'm gonna be a responsible child and I'm gonna do the dishes. And on your way to do the dishes, your mom says, hey, yo, make sure you do them dishes. See, now I don't want to do them anymore because when I do it by myself, I'm thinking, you know what, this could be calming for me. But when you ask me to do it, now I'm required to do it. Lastly, I cannot stand when I'm in the bathroom and I've only been in there for like 3 minutes and somebody's, what you in there doing? Like, what do you think I'm doing in the bathroom? You making a sandwich? Thank you for your...
When I was a kid, the TV show that I hated the most was called Dora the Explorer. Alright, my mom made me watch it because she thought it was educational. Yeah, she never watched the show. Because the two things I learned from Dora the Explorer was rage and anger from this crop top melon head Mexican child, because she would just walk up to the screen and ask me, hey, where's the red barn? And I'm like, Dora, it's right there. And then she would act all confused like I just spoke a different language, and I'm like getting irritated with this girl now. And she has the audacity to ask where, and I'm like, behind you, Dora. And then she's looking all confused again, and then she goes ask for Map's help, and I'm like, we don't need to talk to Map, it's right behind you, Dora, just turn around. And then she's lost now, and I can't tell her.
Okay, one thing I will never understand is parent selective hearing. Because if I'll be in my studies, which is a rare occasion, and my mum will shout up to me, and I'll go, yeah? Crickets. Dead silence. And I'll have to call another 10 times, and I'll still get no response. It's like being added on Snapchat. They initiate the conversation, then you get left on red. How does that make sense? Like, sorry, Mum, did you not just initiate that conversation, yet you failed to respond to me? Anyway, I have to go downstairs to make sure you haven't been murdered within the 2 seconds of calling up to me, and she's fine, and she just says, oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you. Hun, it felt like my voice box was shattering at the sheer volume that I was calling for you. But you couldn't hear me then. But then, plot twist, when I speak at the lowest volume, she could be in Africa and still hear me. I say one bad thing at the volume of a mouse, and that woman suddenly has ears of a BFG. Make it make sense. Like, do adults have some kind of selective hearing aid or like I don't get it. I really don't. Someone help.
You know, I just realized I was really stupid when I was little. So it was my grandfather's funeral and I was like 4 or 5 and I was sitting down waiting to go outside and I see everyone crying. So I'm like, why is everyone crying? And then my brother runs up to me with his eyes red as the eclipse and he hugs me and I'm like, oh, he just knows I'm the favorite child, which I still am. And then I look up and I see this ginormous picture of my grandpa and I'm like, are we worshiping him or something? And then my mom takes me to see the casket and I'm like, why is everyone so worked up about it? He's just taking a nice peaceful nap in his nice fancy bed with his nice fancy suit on, like... And then we go outside to bury him and I just see everyone pouring their eyes out like cats and dogs pouring. And then I look up to my mom and say, do you need me to call 911 or the hospital? Like, I can do it right now without no hesitation. And then everyone leaves and then I just see my brother just crying, talking to the gravestone. And I'm like, why are you talking to thin air? And then he looks up to me and says, you're really dumb, aren't you? And then I say, what is that supposed to mean? And then like 5 minutes later, I go up to my mom with the happiest face on earth and say, can we please get ice cream now? I was so bored. And she looks at me and says, he's dead!
Parents are another breed. They are not humans, especially moms. I would be looking for my shoes and they would be nowhere to be seen. I checked the first floor, I checked my bedroom, it's literally nowhere. Then I would call my mom to help me find them. And in 2 seconds, she would have found them magically out of nowhere. And then I would be scolded. Like, I checked for 1 hour and could not find anything. And in 2 seconds, she would have found it? It does not make sense. They are not humans.
If you're having a bad day, I just thought it'd be nice for you to know that a girl who used to be in my class posted a thing to her story that was like, oh, like, honest opinions about me, please. And she responded to her own story and said, oh my gosh, you're the Heather. Queen Heather. You are the main character. You are so pretty and talented. This would have been fine if she didn't screenshot her own response and post it on her and post it to her story with her username still clearly attached. It was so in character. She was like, oh my god, you guys, stop. Like, why does everyone think I'm the Heather?
In my opinion, Miraculous is a tiny bit overrated. I mean, sis, don't get me wrong, I ain't no hater, but it's the same in every freaking episode. You know, someone gets angry, then they get acclimatized by Hawkmoth. Then Ladybug and Cat Noir come to the rescue and fight a little bit. Cool, what? And then Ladybug uses her, like, lucky charm, and then they win. Then Hawkmoth, at the end of every single episode, is like, I will get you next time, Cat Noir and Ladybug. Just you wait and see. Miss Girl! Well, it better be soon, Hawkmoth. It's been like 100 episodes, and you ain't even been close. Get your game face on. Get your game face on.
Oh my gosh, it is so annoying when you're in class. Let's just say you're in a French lesson or something, but your teacher asks everyone a question, like, who knows the answer to this, blah, 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 like they normally do. So you don't put your hand up because you don't know the answer. And they're like, no, Samantha, I've already picked you. Sorry, I know you already know the answer, Erin. You look around and there's like you and 3 other people that don't have their hands up. And then she like, goes ahead and picks you. She's like, go on, you can tell me the answer. I haven't heard from you today. Maybe that's because I don't know any of these questions you're asking me. It's like, I swear sometimes they just get paid to annoy you. Also, another thing is that it's super embarrassing. You'll just look at them and be like, I don't know, sorry. Like in a really, really quiet voice. And everyone will just stare at you. It's like, if I knew the answer, I would put my hand up.
Okay, but are we